face the world's newest threat, they'll need a new kind of hero.
Agent Vasco just survived a 46-story fall.
She's hard to resist and harder to kill. Terminator 3's Kristana Loken is Painkiller Jane, a Sci-Fi Channel original series, every Friday at 10.
Yo!
You watching the Halo 3 vid doc?
Yes?
No.
I just got it?
No.
Why no?
Turn it off.
Okay.
Your life right now is Halo 2. The new maps come out next week.
I love
probably
me
know
some
that.
Halo 2. I'm looking
What
forward
you
to it.
don't know is that we have a long-standing rivalry with Bungie.
Oh, I know.
And next week, we face them again. You went to their house and you let them play by their rules. Fuck that. This is online. All right? The playing
Where
field
we
is...
can cheat.
No. What the fuck? We don't cheat.
Okay.
I don't need you watching this Halo 3 shit.
Halo. I
You
totally
haven't played
did.
Halo in months. All you play is Gears of War now, right? Right.
Right.
And X, right?
No.
Okay, I need your copy of Gears of War on my desk tomorrow morning. Tonight, we're playing Halo 2 multiplayer, 9 p.m. sharp.
9
And
p.m.
every night until next Wednesday, when we have the Hump Day Challenge against Bungie.
Okay. Who else is on the team?
Right now, it's Mark and Shu and you, and we're still looking for a fourth. I'm
Mark,
shopping around.
Me.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Master Chief has no love for you, as you have no love for Master Chief.
But I bought it. Turn it
I don't care,
around.
it doesn't count. Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it?
No, Sensei! We need a fourth.
Yeah, I don't know who though.
Someone good.
Somebody who's really good at it and really loves Halo. I don't know though. Like, I don't know anybody else who's like, you know, respectfully and properly into Halo. I can't play, I'm the coach. Sensei doesn't kick. Who could it be?
I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
Japan is all about Wii. Wii was sold out in every single store. I saw people like going crazy for it. Games are sold out. Everyone loves Wii. I tried to find a game to buy, but there's nothing I wanted there. It's like here, there's a shortage of games. Like,
Soon to be able to buy Super Paper Mario here, so that's good.
you know, we've all played it. It seems like a long time ago since we played it. We reviewed it, but I think it's obviously the next game everybody's going to get. If you bought Zelda, you should buy this game. It's like the next purchase to buy for GameCube. I mean, Wii.
It's funny that the second best game on the system is also was a GameCube game first, which is kind of disappointing as a system that their best two games are really GameCube games.
Right. And I think anybody will agree that the Wii functionality is a little tacked on here.
Yeah.
Like,
It's completely tacked on. Like, the whole pointing at the screen thing to unlock the invisible doors, all they had to do was make those doors invisible. But it was totally not integral to the gameplay at all.
when you hit enemies, you can like jam the controller up to get bonus points. And it's funny, I didn't even know that until about a third of the way through the game when someone told me, hey, do you know you could do this? And I didn't know that, but it doesn't really change the gameplay because it just gives you score.
It brings back that whole audience participation thing in Paper Mario 2, but it doesn't really do anything. It's just there. It's cosmetic.
Yeah. What I wanted from this game was like the depth of gameplay and the mastery of gameplay that you get from like Super Mario Brothers from, 20 years ago. And this doesn't have that. Like, there's no point where the hard jumps And like because you're never holding down B to run, and I make a point of that in my review. Like that is actually a big deal to me. Like that is like that inertia, and that is why Mario's running and jumping is fun. And this doesn't have that, so I was constantly turning on the pixel that lets you like float really quickly.
Yeah.
And like it just doesn't feel like Mario anymore. But it's all right.
It feels very much like Paper Mario. Like structurally, the help characters, the items, it's just not turn-based anymore.
Instead of doing the turn-based combat, you are doing like actual stomping on enemies.
Well, I actually found that to all work. Like I like the fact it had some of the role-playing elements, like building up your character stats and stuff, but also like the gameplay really was a platformer. I mean, and it's switching from 2D to 3D, which
that's the best part. That's the platforming. It was kind of underwhelming to me. Like it wasn't as like hardcore Super Mario Brothers.
I didn't expect it to be though.
I kind of did.
Oh, okay.
I wanted it to be.
I wanted it to be.
I really like it. I think it's a good game. I give it a good score, and I definitely recommend playing it. But it definitely didn't grab me the way I thought it would. I mean, I was really excited because the idea of the humor of Paper Mario mixed with the real platforming gameplay of a real Mario game, to me, should have been like the perfect combination.
But that's the thing, that it was never as platform heavy as we all kind of expected it would be.
Right.
Structurally, it's very similar to the Paper Mario RPG stuff.
Right.
I don't know. It was exactly what I was hoping for. I mean, I would say I was hoping for a little bit more Wii stuff, Wii functionality. But otherwise, I mean, I was completely sold on it. I didn't mind that it was like a little bit of a mix of everything. Like I was looking forward to that. Like it was nice change up. Because I didn't guess, my expectations were different. I didn't expect it to be a hardcore platformer. You're concentrating on the super part of the title, and I'm concentrating on the paper part of the title. Like that just feels like a Paper Mario game with a little bit of Super Mario in there.
Right.
Whereas you're hoping, you haven't played as many of the Paper Mario games, which you admit, you were expecting Super.
Even with this, they took away some of the paper stuff from Paper Mario 2.
Like the turning into the envelope
all
and
the
stuff
paper,
like that.
all the paper shapes you can do. So it's a weird mix of both. It works really well in some areas, but others.
You're spending a lot of time in Flipside, which is the town, trying to uncover whatever it is that opens up the next area, and that really isn't that much fun. I just kind of like wanted to get on with the platforming, because when you're in the levels are very creative, and because of Mario's ability to flip between 2D and 3D, it's all these neat puzzles, and yeah, that kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes because you're busy trying to figure out how to get to the next level.
I would say that's probably my biggest complaint. I mean, aside from the Capcom Wii stuff, is that when Skip and I reviewed the last Paper Mario, that was one thing we all complained about, was like the stuff in between levels is so boring and tedious and like just a waste of time. And like it's like they saw those reviews and said, oh, screw you guys, we're gonna do the same exact thing this time, which really irks me.
Part of the reason this is a great game is because when it's good, it's really good.
This is when it really like clicked for me. Like the whole 2D to 3D thing, where you're like you're changing the gravity, and you're also flipping dimensions. So it's like, where am I? How do I get through this?
I think the Woe Zone, like the platforming bits of that, not the shooting bits, are really fun. But I think the problem is the game actually peaks kind of early. The third world is if you're on the internet, this is gonna be the funniest level of all time. I make a lot of references to it in my review. It's basically the retro throwback level that's kind of poking fun at message board posters, and the dialogue is hilarious. It's so creative. One of those levels you're stuck in a sweatshop and you have to like figure out how to escape from it.
My favorite line is when someone asks you, do you go on message boards and complain about games you've never played before? Like, you have to answer yes, and it's like it's like perfect. It's like exactly what stuff I want to hear. Like I wish more games had that type of humor.
That level is full of surprises. Like suddenly the gameplay changes entirely, and like I don't want to spoil it for people, but like the boss encounter is really funny and just creative. And so because of that level is so awesome that other levels, especially later in the game, seems kind of pedestrian. I mean, like, I don't want to sound like I'm a hater, because I do think this is a very good game, but there are a lot of missed opportunities here, like the multiple characters. Because Mario is the only character who can switch between 2D and 3D, like as much as you want to play as other characters, and I really like playing as Bowser because he's really strong and it kind of makes the game feel different. I was constantly having to open a menu, switch back to Mario just to progress. I mean, from all the time, because only Mario can progress through a great deal of the game. And
I agree. I would really 95% of the time play as Mario, just because a lot of the game is, a lot of puzzle elements to the game. It's more than just, like you said, than a platformer.
There's no compelling reason to switch
so
to Peach.
You're always going back 2D, 3D, if you missed little things, like even power-ups and stuff like that.
I didn't really get time to go into this in my review, but I also thought the story was not quite there. Like, when it takes itself seriously, like the whole love story between Tippy and Lumiere, it's like
weird.
like you get all these like long-winded, heavy-handed like cutscenes between every level, and it's like it's painfully obvious what's going to happen. It's the most predictable story of all time, and like
Well, it's the same story as the first two Paper Marios.
more or
Just
less. Yeah,
Yeah.
because when the game's really funny, it's super funny. I'd almost wish it was like just funny throughout instead of ever taking
the
itself
Luigi
serious.
stuff was funny. I thought with the robot and
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
It's also funny that Nintendo like went so far out of their way to protect the fact that Luigi's in this game, and it's like he's on the box. You know, he's like he's on the box, and like yeah, Luigi's in the game. It's definitely worth playing. I think the average person who buys it is really going to enjoy it, and it's creative, it's new, it's fresh. It's definitely worth playing. It's not going to blow you away graphically, and it's not going to be the ultimate Paper Mario / platformer you can imagine, because it just isn't consistent throughout.
I think we're all in agreement, just like varying levels.
but-
Like highly recommended.
No, it is.
some issues.
It is, and it's for me. It's almost bittersweet because it's sad that my second GameCube, Wii game that I'm gonna buy, is basically a GameCube game. When will Nintendo just really knock one out of the park? That's Wii specific, and Wii Sports doesn't count.
But yeah, they should have also made this for GameCube, because the things you would lose are really minimal, like, and it would have sold probably pretty well still on GameCube. I don't want to sound down on it. It's definitely I think it's a solid purchase for
Go buy it.
for any Wii.
If you have a
owner.
Wii, go buy it. Play
Definitely
it. Enjoy it.
If you have a GameCube, Wii, go buy it.
But yeah, I think we're still waiting for like the ground up, made fresh Wii game that will show us what the
We're
system's
waiting for
truly.
Super Mario Galaxy. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for Super Mario Galaxy.
This is a fine little appetizer to tide
It
you
is,
over.
but it is until they release. That will be the game.
What the fuck?
So I hear you like Halo.
You're pretty goddamn astute, Kathleen.
Yeah, but I also hear that the one loss that Ziff has suffered against Bungie was when you were on the team.
Yeah.
Things are different now.
Yeah, the one where we played the game that they've been playing for 6 months and no one else in the world's played yet. Yeah, we
Right,
lost that
we're not
one.
doing it that way.
Okay.
I like wins in the win column, not excuses in the win column.
As opposed to what else? Oh, excuses in the win column. Would that be an E?
There'd be some kind of asterisk, and then at the bottom there'd be like a footnote. Next week, Halo Hump Day Challenge against Bungie. It's a rematch. It's time for Ziff to take back the pride that you guys managed to lose.
We're playing the new maps.
We're playing the new maps Wednesday.
The day they come out.
No, day after. The day they come out, we will be studying them non-stop.
Yeah, I'll play in your little game.
Be there tonight at 9 p.m.
Okay. I have to play Halo. Okay.
Yeah. If I see you on Xbox Live playing anything other than Halo 2, you're off the fucking team.
You obviously haven't seen my anemic gamer score.
Alright, great.
Have a seat. Tell us what happened to you.
I don't know what happened to me. Being thrown out of a window 46 floors up. Painkiller Jane is based on a comic created by Jimmy Palmiotti. My character, Jane Vasco, was recruited from the DEA.
I could use you on my team.
I don't know what your team does.
I'm afraid you'll have to be content with a thank you.
Neurological aberrants are people that look like you or I, but somehow they've been genetically changed in such a way that they can control people with their minds. So our job is to hunt down the neuros. So when we chip them, it disables the mind control, and then we ship them to form tests and whatnot in this kind of Guantanamo Bay-esque holding facility.
The man beside me is going to kill you.
You're supposed to be dead. In the first episode, we find out that she has this healing ability. Jane herself doesn't know who she can trust with this information. Is the hunter being the hunted? We don't know. We're gonna get a few little breadcrumbs of info along the way. How did these neuros start? How is Jane possibly related to these neuros? But she does, even though she heals, she does take on the physical and emotional pain, hence the Painkiller Jane. So even though there's a lot of physical trauma that she heals from, it's emotionally and mentally very taxing on her and me.
I should have died that day.
I didn't.
You know what sound dragons make?
No, they say that's wrong. Dragons go. They're very concerned about bringing physical combat of the dragons into play. So yes, you can shoot fireballs as the dragon, but they did that because it was fun, and it's because it's something you expect a dragon to be able to do. But the majority of the combat is not done with fire. In fact, when I was playing, I hardly used it at all.
And combat cannot stay with projectiles alone, because it always comes down to either lock-on missiles or lasers or bullets or whatever you do, World War I, World War II, futuristic.
You lock onto a dragon with the L1 button, and then you hit the X button and it does like this kind of blast-in strike.
While you're hitting him, we're actually going into a slowdown mode like Matrix, and you can actually use the 6-axis, the tilt, to tilt around the camera. If you then can line up the next dragon in the shot, and you push the button before the slow-mo is over, then you scoot over to the next one, and you can daisy chain. You can do combos, and you can daisy chain these guys. Let's say you've got a medium dragon at the end of that. He wouldn't die from that one hit.
Right.
So him you then get into one of these closer-up dragon fights.
You're going to unlock new combos for those instances. And so we haven't even really seen any of that. I'm really curious to see how in-depth those combos get. I mean, they went as far to say that it was almost like a fighting game.
It's somewhere in the middle between a real fighting game and Punch-Out. Because Punch-Out is essentially, you don't move your character, but you're moving, but you're doing the attacks and everything, but you can dodge. And that's pretty much what we have. But what we have more than Punch-Out is we do have combos, we do have combination attacks and all of that. Layering all of these different systems was really, really tricky.
I think the gameplay is largely different than the Rogue Squadron games, and especially when you consider that the whole thing is done with motion control. And I think it works. I think the motion control works great.
We are only using waggle when it actually is when it's better than traditional analog stick D-pad buttons. So the 6-axis was the big breakthrough for the game in terms of really gelling, because we suddenly had the motion control for the flight, which we always wanted, but then it went further with the gestures, because suddenly also the physicality all made sense, because you could do a lot of these physical attacks. We always wanted to have ramming in there, but suddenly you could literally ram. On the ground controls, it's simply more fun, and you do have more control in the end. It's the fun and it's the amount of control if you leave it on the analog stick, and that's why we actually went back to relatively traditional controls there, and we're using the motion control more for the camera when we go into slow-mo, and for actually stomps and more of the brutal attack.
But there are some pretty elaborate things you can do.
I'm the last true believer of motion control here at the office.
You always will be. It is recorded.
I think Lair is a very, very good example of motion control in action. At the event, the game was running at the frame rate wasn't that great, but they've also just said that they just hit alpha.
The frame rate and stuff, to bitch about that is really pointless, because that's polished type stuff. That's stuff they absolutely have time to fix.
Sure.
And it will run in 1080p.
Yeah, and it looks cool.
You know, and if you are one of the, 0.0005% of HD TV owners who have a TV that will show true 1080p, you'll be able to take advantage of that with this game, which is something, finally. You know, we're starting to see that.
Just like we trained, Jevin. Yeah, just like we trained. Except for the giant monster shooting daylight out its eyes. Looks like we woke up some screeners.
The dragons do look incredible. It looks kind of, Jurassic Parky, and the wings are a lot like a bat's wings. And I mean,
not even just the dragons though. The dragons do look cool, but those like flying manta things are awesome. And the they let us fight one boss, and that battle is like really cool and has like moments of kind of quick timery like events. Just kind of there's a part where you stab it in the eye, just like in God of War 2, you stab the Colossus statue in the eye.
Subplots have had to be cut from the game, as they always are. As always. But are you still hoping to, or do you know if you'll be able to offer those later on as downloadable content, or is that something you guys are working on?
There were 2 strands of subplots which we would love to revive, but in the end that would be perfect as downloadable content, and we have to figure it out with Sony if it actually makes sense. I personally would like to do it, yes.
I played the TGS build when they had that PS3 launch thing out at Dogpatch.
Right.
And I really liked it there. I really liked how it felt. It was that same bridge level that everybody had seen before this recent event, and I was really excited to see new environments and see what they did was new. And I'm starting to be a little bit concerned. To me, this is just like one of their Rebel Assault games with all the X-Wing flying, but instead of, X-Wing or you've got a dragon.
In what way?
In the way that every mission is set up.
Yes.
Everything is set up very traditionally. It's very traditional. I remember I'm saying that, every mission was timed, but there were some that where the time was so generous you don't have to worry about the fact that it's timed. And it's like these linear objectives. And I'm still optimistic about the game. I'm still excited about the dragon game, because dragons are awesome. I just wanted to see maybe something a little different. And we might still. I'm just saying that everything we've seen now is just like those with the dragon covering. I don't like time missions. I don't like linear objectives.
Okay.
Stop those Tauros! Hurry!
Go destroy the trebuchets now. All right, now go destroy the rhinos. All right, now I want to destroy them in the order I want to destroy them in. I want to destroy the trebuchet with the rhino. I want to be able to do that.
That's
and
fine.
It doesn't encourage that.
Okay.
But they did mention that some of the other levels are more sandboxy.
Yeah. Sometimes I appreciate a timed mission. I like the structure of the game. It's not that I want to be told everything that I need to do every second, but we're talking about the second level of the game when they're teaching you how to play.
Right.
The gameplay structure is more convenient for me as an old school gamer than every game having an open world like Grand Theft Auto. I don't need that.
I felt super excited about the game after playing the TGS build.
Okay.
And I feel a little bit of caution after seeing that, the first 5 levels was only that it was the same type of mission structure that made me a little skeptical is all. And before that, I was just wholehandedly super excited about the game. I still am super excited about the game.
I don't know. I think the game is coming along pretty good. We're going to have to wait until it finally comes out to really see if they get the finishing touches put on the visuals. I have really high hopes for the game, and I don't think there's any real reason for anyone to start dismissing it at this point. I'm not even that big a Rogue Squadron fan. I think people who really like those Rogue Squadron games, who really appreciate flying games, arcade-style flying games like the ones that Factor 5 makes, Factor 5 fans are going to get a real kick out of this game.
They haven't totally abandoned everything that put them where they are.
Yeah.
And that there is some of that in this game.
Definitely.
Only now you're dragon.
So, how about that Devil May Cry 4, huh?
Oh, wait, it's not
we
made
can't
first yet.
Oh, we can't talk about it yet. Okay.
Couple weeks.
Okay. In 2 weeks, we'll talk about Devil May Cry.
In 2 weeks, but I mean, it's like the most exciting games here for me are the Wii games. It's kind
Yeah.
of surprising, but like Capcom supporting the Wii games. You have the RE4 Wii edition.
What are we gonna do, Leon?
I'm so angry with Capcom that they're releasing pretty much my favorite game in the last 10 years again for a third time, and that I'm gonna buy it again for a third time. This is the best version of the game. After having played it, I can confirm that the Wii controls are perfect. All that Red Steel bullshit and Call of Duty, all the first-person shooters on Wii, that they don't really work quite right with the Wii remote. The Resident Evil 4 controls, I think, map perfectly to the Wii.
It took me like 1 minute, and I got it immediately. What I like is Resident Evil 4, you've always been running, and then you immediately start to aim, and you start off aiming forward, even when you know you want to swing to the right. With this, your reticle is separate from your movement, so you can be aiming to the right, stop, and boom, you're automatically shooting like right over there. So it was like just precision aiming too, shooting heads and everything, so easy.
I mean, when I heard it was coming to the Wii, I was like, yep, that's going to work right. And after having played it, it totally does. I really love did you try the new knife attack?
Yeah, if you just waggle, it's an immediate knife attack.
Right. Usually when I'm playing a Wii game, I'm like overcompensating. Like if I have to do a motion, if it tells me to wave it or whatever, I'm like, go crazy. And in this, when you just go from left to right or right to left to do the knife swipe, and I was actually, going crazy, and I would do the swipe twice. Like I was actually overestimating the controls. Like if you just do one, it's gonna work.
Well, and there was a lot of waggling too, because if you're aiming and do that, then that's how you reload.
Right.
Which is also how you reload in the Umbrella Chronicles game.
How did you like that?
I actually really like it. It's like, okay, it is House of the Dead.
This can't be happening!
No! We're too late! What are these things?
What's going on?
I'm a little disappointed that you're moving on rails. You can move around with your nunchuck and look around limitedly, but you are being dragged around on rails.
Right.
People are joking it's House of the Dead or Mansion of the Dead because the first level is set in the mansion from RE1. There's going to be environments from different games and also new environments. It's a little disappointing that it's basically just a shooting game. You're not controlling where you're going. Even like a Gun Survivor games, which were never good, but they gave you that freedom of movement.
If you don't come to the game with a stigma like, oh, this is just House of the Dead, especially if you like House of the Dead, if you've missed like Jesus Christ. So this is getting nuts. I think Cirque du Soleil is up in this piece.
Has just broken out. Let's go.
Let's get out of here. So here we are in a quieter spot. I like this a little nicer, right?
If you don't come at Umbrella Chronicles with like a preconceived notion
of the fact that it's like so lesser than a Resident Evil game, or especially if you like House of the Dead and other, like gun shooters, then I think you'll really get a kick out of it because it looks good. I mean, I haven't played the remake in a little while, but I think if you were to go back and compare, I mean, this is all in 3D, but the graphics look pretty nice.
And it does have some step to it. Like, I mean, what gun you're choosing, obviously, but when enemies get close, you can choose to do a counterattack with the A, and that's like it is in RE4. You like hit them with a knife and knock them down. And then there's also like optional little paths that you don't have to go to, but if you hit them and at the right time you hit A, you can go in, like you go into the bathroom on the first floor of the mansion, and there's ammo in there, or maybe a weapon that you wouldn't get otherwise. There's a lot of stuff in the background you can shoot or not shoot. You can hit chandeliers and knock them onto enemies.
I thought we already killed him!
So there is more to it, and it looks good, like the lightning and like all the lighting effects.
Destructibility of the environment.
Everything's destructible, which it never was in the Gun Survivor games. It's not like the Gun Survivor games were ever great anyway, but it's like, I do kind of wish it was a more deeper title, but taken on its own merits, it does look and play really good.
This one's tougher than I expected.
I'll bet his mouth isn't so tough.
When I played RE4 on the Wii, I was like, wow, this is like perfect. It's just so like, this is maybe my favorite Wii game, even though this is like just a remake. And I kind of wish that that instead of making Survivor, even though I think it is a pretty cool game,
Umbrella Chronicles.
Umbrella Chronicles.
Right.
Whoops. Even though they're working on Umbrella Chronicles, which I think is a cooler, is a pretty cool game. I mean,
Yeah.
It's definitely looks better than I thought it was. I wish they were doing like Resident Evil 4.5,
I know, spending their time on that. It's no accident. You call it Survivor on accident, but really, if Survivor was a popular series, that is fucking Survivor. They would call it Survivor if it was a popular series. They want people to forget that brand, forget the stigma, and like sort of start over. I think that's why they're calling it that. In the game they showed that takes advantage of the Wii the most probably is Treasure Island. Project Treasure Island Z.
Working title. The thing that seems weird about it is that they say you just play it with the Wiimote and that's it.
All you do. You don't use the nunchuck or anything, and all you do is like to have him move. You don't even use the D-pad. You just point on the screen where you want him to go, and then click A, and he'll walk. So it's like a point and click. And when you want him to interact with something, you point at that object and you click on it.
So it looks like an adventure game, but really it's like a puzzle game, right? It's basically like a series of puzzles, and it's like you use the Wiimote and you're not sure even how to do it. It doesn't explain everything. You can go to a series of hints, but the idea is the less hints you use from the game to solve the puzzles, right? The better like grade you get, the better score you get.
You're supposed to get clues that tell you what you should or should not do, but the clues they're like really ambiguous. So you really just go through the level and you like trial and error. Except when you do the wrong, like if you use the wrong object at the wrong time, you die and you go all the way back to the beginning of the level. So like one of the reps here were telling me like one of the longest levels that she played was like it took her like 2 hours, and I'm like, just think you get to the very end and then there's like some kind of innocuous looking object on the floor, you walk by it and it kills you.
Your little monkey sidekick transforms enemies into items that you can then use to solve puzzles, right?
Yeah.
Did you see any of that stuff?
Yeah, if you go to like an enemy, you can use Wiki or your Wiimote and you like shake it and he'll like break out a big bell and it's like ding 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 ding. You win a prize and it like changes into like an object you can use or a weapon you can use or something like that. Usually they're like devices for getting to the next part of the level.
They made it sound like they're trying to position it as almost like a family-friendly game where you can sit around with a group of people. Right.
But I don't know, because I think I'd be pretty frustrated if I was trying to play this game. There's like, they say you play it with your friends, but what they mean is you sit and play while your friends yell and heckle you.
They backseat drive the game, right.
And that's supposed to make it fun, but I mean, when you're like, people down there that were playing on the kiosk, they look pretty damn pissed.
Sounds like it's more fun to be part of the peanut gallery than actually be playing the game.
It's a game made for the peanut gallery.
Being thrown out of a window 46 floors up should have killed me.
It's based on a comic book that Joe Quesada and I created around '95, and she's not the spandex and cape and zaps powers from her eyeballs kind, but she's definitely, her power is sort of secondary to her. Like I've always written her, she's all attitude, she's all balls to the wall. Jane is like a non-stop killing machine kind of gal, and then the power she has that if she gets injured, she can heal. It doesn't heal that second. She can feel the pain, but it heals. It's when we first came up with the character, it was sort of a storytelling device because we never made the character about her being injured so much. It wasn't about that. It was about the situation she was in and pretty much how that not only does she have these powers, but she still has in her blood the crime-fighting kind of a way about her.
The man beside me is going to kill you.
You're supposed to be dead.
Jane, if she gets a spike in her eye, would do exactly what you and I would be doing with Spike and I. We'd probably be running blindly and screaming like a maniac. I always have this thing about movies and TV. It's like people take a bullet and then they keep running and take another bullet. Well, Jane can do that, but she's screaming like a bastard when it's happening. It hurts. Think of a paper cut and times that by around 8,000. That's what it feels like to get something. I've had a knife stuck in my leg. It hurts and it keeps hurting until you have that blinding kind of dizziness until somebody's grabbing it and putting pressure on it. It just doesn't stop hurting.
I realized that pain was going to be my friend. That it would make me stronger. I just never realized how much stronger would be. I should have died that day. I didn't.
No, don't fucking drop the rocket launcher. It's gonna respawn if you do that.
I know.
What the fuck? Christ. Yeah.
Great.
Game over. Good job.
Sorry. Your idea of training, fucking bitching at him, like telling him to whore the rocket launcher.
Well, you don't fucking drop it once you picked it up and wait for it to respawn and have them pick it up.
What do you do when it's empty?
Keep it.
So you're the sensei for this fucking project and all you do is bitch?
And what is it that you do here? Like, as your job?
You know.
Bitch.
So what you telling you? You're telling you to whore the plasma pistol.
Yeah. Give me a
Noob
few
combo.
combos and,
Why aren't you practicing?
I don't really need much practice at this game.
Alright, well.
Yeah.
Better not.
Hey, can I talk to you for a sec?
Sure. Oh, shutting the door.
Don't wanna go to work today. Wanna go home and play all my video games. No, don't wanna take it nice and slow. Wanna get ready to go on the one-up show. On the one-up show, you know you be a star. On the one-up show, you already are. Every day is a holiday. That's how I'll always know. One up, one up, one up. My friends are going on. One up, one up, one up. And I'll see you all. One up, one up, one up. On the one up show.